You're listening to Bigfoot Society, and I'm Jeremiah Byron. In this show, we go beyond the campfire stories to bring you firsthand encounters from people who say they've seen something impossible, from backwoods trails and remote mountain haulers to quiet farms and crowded highways. The stories come from everywhere, and each one leaves us with more questions than answers. These are the voices of the people who've lived it, so settle in, because today you'll hear another account that just might change the way you see the woods forever. So stay with us. Please keep Jeremiah in your prayers as he continues his fight against cancer. For more updates about his medical journey, please go to the Caring Bridge link in the show notes. Thank you. How's it going, man?
Doing pretty good, man. How are you?
Hey, I appreciate you coming up. Feel free to share. If you can share kind of where the region or area it happened, that's helpful as well, too.
Yeah, so we took the kids on spring break 2 years ago down at Red River Gorge in Kentucky. And we live in Louisville. And our cabin backed up to the edge of a hill, or I guess, they would say the holler. And the curator of the Airbnb that we had, we thought he was just joking. He was like, there's Bigfoots around. Just saying, maybe trying to get a rise out of us. But as the sun was setting, we were outside around the fire and we heard kind of a roar, sort of. And we all just kind of looked at each other. It was like, no way, we just heard that. And it was just down at the bottom of the holler that we were staying up on top of. And my son, he had a hammock set up because he was wanting to sleep outside that night. We're like, nope, not now. Sorry, buddy.
Oh my goodness. Hold on one second. I gotta get him out of there. That's wild. How long did the how long did the roar go for?
Probably about, I don't know, I would have to say probably 5 or 6 seconds.
Okay.
It was pretty deep too. So, and I don't think there's anything in those woods anything else that I would know that would make that kind of noise.
And it's something where, I don't know, did it affect you in any weird way physically when you heard it?
It kind of gave us chill bumps a little bit. But other than that, we were just kind of, weren't really scared. We didn't go in or anything, but it was just kind of exciting to hear it. And then that was really kind of the only experience we had while we were there.
That's awesome. Were you able to talk to the Airbnb owner afterwards to be like, yeah, we think we experienced something, or did that never happen?
No, we didn't see him again. But I have shared this story on other TikTok videos. Nice. And they were telling me that, I didn't come up live, I just typed it in, but they were telling me that apparently Red River Gorge is kind of a hot spot for Bigfoot activity.
It really is. There's been multiple people I've talked to, and there's actually a Red River Gorge Bigfoot festival now, which is massive. I mean, I want to say it's like 30, 40,000 people showed up the first time they had it. It was crazy. So that area is pretty intense, but man, thank you so much for coming up and for sharing that about that area. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
You got it. So there you go. First one, Red River Gorge, a weird roar. I myself have heard a weird roar out in Oregon, and it chills you. It makes you freak out.
Hey
Spartans,
sorry, I've never done that before, so I don't know if I'm doing it right.
You're good. Yeah. Would you be able any details you can share? Much appreciated. But feel free to go for it.
Okay, so we had a hurricane come through, and it was like the Matthew or Michael or something like that, and like most of our county, we flood during that time. So we have horses. We have 5 acres. We live at the edge of the Ocala Forest, and we have 3 horses, and then we had goats. And at the time, we did not have livestock guardian dogs. And the paddocks had flooded in the back, and I had sent my husband off for work. It was like 5:15 in the morning. It was still dark. Because of where we live, there's no outside light. Like, we have our porch light, but there's no, like street lights or anything like that. It's pretty rural as far as Florida is concerned. But I sent him off to work, and I was sitting on the porch having my coffee, and I could hear something walking through the water, but I didn't see anything, and I kind of just assumed it was like one of the horses or something. But then I looked, and all of our horses and the goats were all pointed like right towards where that was coming from, and they were like frozen, but nobody was making any noise. Nobody, was moving or anything, and they just stayed watching. I grabbed the flashlight that we have inside just to look. I thought, okay, maybe it's a bear. We have black bears out here, and didn't think anything about it. And it was walking through, we have like a thick wooded area in the back, but towards the right of our house. And then it was walking through the paddock, going towards our neighbor's property, stepped right over the fence line, and just kept walking. I was started screaming because I was like, go on. I didn't know if they would attack a goat or anything like that, but he was completely unbothered. He never picked up his pace. He never turned around, never nothing, and just kept walking and just stepped right over the fence and kept on going. And my husband had later found in the fence line, because of how we were flooded, the top edge of the wire that was once all dry, but that was pretty much all that was showing above the water where he had crossed over. And at one point we did have hair at one point that did not match. We can't 100% say that it was his, but it did not match any color of our goats or the horses or anything like that. And of course we don't have pictures or camera or anything, but it was kind of crazy. That was kind of crazy.
Wow, that is wild. How long was the hair?
I'm gonna say about 3 to 4 inches. It wasn't very long. It wasn't very long, but kind of shaggy. And then just recently, I don't know, I have the pictures in my phone, but it was about 3 weeks ago now. I had come outside in the morning. I was the first one up. And again, we live at the edge of the Ocala Forest, so we get weird stuff happening out here, but nothing too crazy. I came out though, and our house, the back porch goes, and then we have a little section of woods that might be 20, 30 feet deep. And then we have a little swamp lake thing. And in between, off the edge of our back porch, in between that and the woods, there were 2 very large footprints. I put a tape measure next to them, and they were about 14 inches in length. And I don't know. So that was a little bit weird. And I thought, okay, my husband's foot is not that big, it was there. And he also does not walk barefoot. And then I asked the kids, did you guys see anything? And no, they didn't see anything, but I got pictures of that. But I don't know if it's, I don't know if it was somebody a woods person. Wow. Or what. Yeah.
No, you mean just a random person living in the woods?
Yeah, because
wow.
There's people out there.
Oh yeah,
we don't see them regularly, but they're out there.
But 14 inches, that's pretty big. Did you ever talk to the neighbor that it was walking towards, that property owner?
Yes, and they think that they have seen, or I'm not gonna say think. They said that they have seen it at least 3 separate times. So he was concerned at one point. He said he's never felt threatened or anything like that by it. He has a workshop. Our house is further into the woods, and theirs is closer up to the road where we kind of, pull in at, but it's dirt roads back here. But so his workshop is kind of in the middle, and then so when I look out my porch, I just see woods, and then he's up closer to the road. But he was in his workshop, and he said that it was at one point standing in the doorway, and he said he was so shocked, he didn't he froze up because it scared him, and he's a hunter. He said, he goes, normally, I don't get scared or anything, and he said, but it just looked at him, and he said that he was like, he goes, "Are we good, buddy?" And he goes, obviously didn't talk back to him, but he just didn't know what to do. And so he said that was it. And he said the thing like turned around and walked away and never bothered anybody, never bothered, any of the animals or anything like that. And it's just, he said he's seen it 3 times. So they've been here like 2 years longer than we have.
Oh my goodness. That's wild. You guys haven't had a sighting yet. That's so wild that, maybe someday though, unless is that something you even want,
Oh yeah, for sure. Like for sure, I'm totally open to it, and that's what I'm saying. Like when I saw it going through the paddock, I just don't know like what to. We don't know anybody that will even entertain a conversation about this, without making fun of us, because it sounds crazy. We sound crazy, but it was there. We saw it. It was in the paddock. Like it was there. So I don't know.
There is let me look it up real quick. There's a really good group, Mid-Florida Bigfoot Research Team. And I want to say that they do stuff around Ocala. If you like wanted to talk to people that are serious into it and really know about your area, look them up. There's also, let me look up the other one real quick. Squatchin' FL is another good one. Mike's really good. Either of those organizations, I believe, are kind of looking around in that area of Florida. So might be worth checking out if you're interested. So thank you so much for coming up and sharing about what's going on down in Ocala. Was that around 2018?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. Awesome. Good stuff. Good stuff. And I hope you can hang out and listen for a little bit.
Yeah, of course. All right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Okay.
Here we go. Hey, Sticks. How are you?
Hi, Jeremiah. It's Deborah. We just had a texting just a little bit ago.
Deborah.
I saw
Thank
your
you.
live.
Thank you for reminding me of your username.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was on episode 757 and 758 with you.
It's a wild one. It's one of those where when I think of like states I haven't been to, Texas is one of them. And I always think like, why would I go to a state? Your story always comes up in my mind because it is so wild. I mean, you were sending some crazy stuff earlier today, but what is going on?
I've had a few things happen since I got back from Italy last year. I've had like at the top of I go feed the chickens. I walk up up the dam, and there's like a pile of entrails like on the trail that I created to walk up to the top of the dam, and it's just like they're waiting on me. There's no blood, there's no anything, and it looked like it come from a deer, maybe a small deer, and so I'm guessing I got gifted something. I've had 3 sticks laid across my chair on the front porch when I would go out to sit down, and they would be like right in a row, kind of angled. I don't know, just a lot of weird stuff. And of course, I did a garden last year, and I always have weird stuff happen when I do the garden. And so I made 2 gardens, and I had a big garden, like tomato plants that I trellised around my chicken coop. So I spent one Saturday, about 3 or 4 hours doing all of these tomatoes in 2 different gardens. One garden close to the house, the other one around the chicken coop. And so spent all that time doing all of that. I get up the next morning, and all of those little, I probably put at least 100 of those round little clips that you trellis the tomatoes with. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but they're like little round white clips. So I had put all of those on, and then when I get up the next day on Sunday, I go down there, both gardens, they're all gone out of both gardens, those little clips. So I was like, what in the world? It's like something thought they were like cute little things to play with or something. You know how I've had the juvenile tracks and the little rocks made in the circles out behind our cars, and you know that box of twine that got carried out into the forest. Just a lot of things that would make me think like we have juveniles here. And of course, I did see that one in that big pile of brush. But so Monday I go back out there, and then all of my tomatoes are gone. So Saturday, let's see. So Saturday it took, or Sunday it took off all of the little clips. Monday it came back and took off all the tomatoes, and that's out of 2 different gardens. Wow. So, and then this year, that Monday I went on Amazon and I bought one of those deer nets, and I draped it across the top of the chicken pen to make sure that, nothing can stick its hand under there when I grow new tomatoes. And I took the little landscape staples and I stapled it all along the ground. And then and then it's like the netting went missing. And this year, my son found it like 50 or 60 feet away out in the pond. So something pulled it down, carried it across the yard, threw it in the pond. So that was like really strange. And then we had, I guess it was a couple of months ago, I was sitting on the front porch and I start hearing this tree cracking. And then I look up and I just watched this big, full grown, mature tree just crash to the ground. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what in the world? And I showed you that video that I made, like as soon as it happened. And then I walked down and out to the back of the property, and I found my son, found my 2 sons. And my younger son said, "Man, you're not going to believe what happened." And I said, "I don't know what." I said, "I came down here because I heard this tree crash." And he says, "Yeah, there was like 4 of them, and it happened in like 5 minutes, and we're trying to figure out what in the heck happened." And I said, "Well, you know it was Bigfoot, right?" So anyway, and then we have this big pond, and then there were like 2 human-looking footprints. I don't think I sent you that picture, but there's like 2 human-looking footprints. If I were to stand where it as deep as it sank down on the side of the pond, it would probably come up to about like I don't know, probably 2 or 3 inches above my ankle. But so what else did I want to tell you today? Oh, I forgot. This is like the craziest one. I was doing some cleaning in my son's bedroom and bathroom, and I come walking out of his bathroom, and I walk by he's got a big screen TV. So I walk by that, and then there's a window, and I look up, and that white Bigfoot is walking away from that window, that one that I saw. I was so freaked out. I just saw the whole back of him just walking away. And remember how I told you he was kind of like a winter wheat color? Same one walking right away from my son's window.
Oh,
and
my goodness.
I know.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead. I got questions in a few minutes. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I was like, oh my gosh. And I go running through the house, and by the time I get to the kitchen or the patio doors, I look and it's gone, but it was there. It was clear as day. So anyway, go ahead.
Okay. So for people that haven't heard your episodes, can you describe a little bit about what that, some other things about that white Bigfoot so people can get the picture?
When it was the episode, or the story with like when I was on the phone with my friend, Mark in England, and I came out of the chicken coop and I had the phone in my hand, and I looked up, and straight across what was then a garden, I looked up, and that thing was standing on the other side of the garden looking at me. It was probably, I don't know, 100, 120, 30 foot away. And it just stood there and looked at me. Then it turned to its left, and it just like did a swan dive behind a big pile of brush. And it was that I can't even figure out how tall it was, but I don't know. It was really big. It was narrow and skinny, but it was tall.
Okay, so and just curious, so sometimes people say like it skinny, so was it like muscular skinny or like it was just skinny?
It was just thin. Yeah, it was thin.
Okay.
And I found that one of those police officers that does let's see, Dano put up a picture of a dog man looking thing, and that is like exactly like what I saw. It looks so close to that. It wasn't like big and bulky like a Bigfoot, but it was like narrow and skinny, pretty much like that white dog man that he posted. And
nice.
when I came across that later, I was like, oh, that's what I saw. So
yeah, guys. The YouTube versions of those episodes have the pictures in them. 99%, like I put the pictures in them, and there's some wild pictures in there. Like some of the best pictures of Bigfoot I've ever seen are ones that are captured on your property that you had sent to me for those episodes. It was crazy.
It is
wild stuff.
We don't like going outside in the dark here.
I wouldn't either. Have you had, and since I put those out, have you had anyone come down to check things out? I can't remember if you have.
No, I've had a phone call with the man that you that wanted to tell me about.
That's right. Yeah.
From they saw the family he investigated that had the three on their property, the three white ones. I can't think of his name right offhand, but yeah, it's never a dull moment around here. Just something going on all the time.
You still got stuff going on, and I feel like that was a while ago. We had that discussion, maybe a year or so.
Yeah, about a year ago. Yeah, and it always ramps up in the spring here.
Okay, what part of spring?
Just like when things start getting a little warmer and starts raining, and just kind of starts moving into spring. Like when I plant the gardens and that kind of stuff.
Which makes sense because there's going to be more food in the area. Someone was talking about who Dano is. He is the host of the Cryptid podcast, and he's a great guy. He's a good friend, and you guys should check it out. It's a YouTube thing. Also, at this current time, are you feeling threatened at any time, in any way or any time?
No, it's been quiet as far as them showing themselves to us or some of the stuff that we've had in the past couple of years, but we are we see little signs of them here and there. As a matter of fact, when I went out I had some really big tomatoes in my garden, and I went out there a couple of days ago and they were gone. I was like, darn it. I was so wanting to get my tomatoes, and I've started just picking them green and bringing them inside now, and just let them ripen in the window or on the counter, because if I don't, I have nets wrapped around these big pots with these tall tomato plants on them, and you have to pull it apart and stick your hand in there to pull those tomatoes off because it's covered in a deer net.
Wow. The white one that you saw walking away, do you think it was looking into the windows?
I absolutely do, because when I saw him, he had just turned and was walking away.
Okay, interesting. Do you have curtains on the windows?
Nope. We have blinds though.
Yeah, blinds.
Are
they usually open?
Yeah, they're usually. I get up every day and I open all the blinds and
Okay, so. Interesting. Man, your whole story is just so wild, Deb. I love it.
Yeah.
I don't know. It sounds like you're kind of cool with it too. I don't know if you absolutely love it, but
yeah, I'm getting ready to move to Florida, and I think.
Oh really? Oh my goodness!
I think I'm gonna be moving to Florida here in July, and so hopefully I don't see too much over there.
So, are you gonna keep the property then, or are you selling it?
Yeah, it's a family property, and
Oh yeah, that's cool.
so
Nice. Nice.
so I'm just gonna retire in Florida.
Well, awesome. Well, that sounds like a good deal to me. But I mean, I appreciate you keeping up to date with me, and letting me know what you got going on.
We have lots of strange things happening around here all the time.
It's a weird place in Texas. There's a few of them. You got a weird one there, but thank you for coming up and
You are so welcome.
keep me up to date. You
I
have a good one.
definitely will. All right. Thank you, Jeremiah.
Yeah, bye. Good stuff. Deb is great to talk to. Oh my goodness, we have tons of people wanting to come up. Let's see. Wow, we almost have 400 people live. Thank you everyone for being here. I have about almost 20 people wanting to come up, so we are starting to see if we can get people to come up and talk about their Bigfoot encounters. If you want to try to come up live right now, hit one of those plus signs or invites. If you don't want to wait in line, you can send me an email to bigfootsociety@gmail.com, and I will get back to you. It may take me a little bit of time right now. Also, you can send your encounter in a voicemail for the podcast, speakpipe.com/Bigfoot Society, or you can just go to bigfootsocietypodcast.com and do the share your story thing. Hey, Sarah, how are you?
I'm good.
Hey, thanks for coming up. Thank you for coming up, Sarah. Feel free to share, and if you can share any info about the area it happened in or any other details, that would be great as well.
Yeah, sure. I live in Mississippi, and the area I live in is kind of rural. It's not a lot of people, but it's not just completely barren either. It's like a little community. And back in January, it was January 10th of this year, I was in my car with kids and my family members going to town to a doctor's appointment with one of the kids. And I looked up, and crossing the road in front of me was the Bigfoot. He come out of the like a tree line area where the creek was. He walked slowly up the bank, and I started slowing down because it kind of unnerved me. And he walked into my lane of traffic, and he stopped. He just stopped, and he stared at me for a couple of seconds, and then he just slowly walked across the highway, down the bank of the creek, and into the tree line on the other side. And since then, I've heard strange noises and things that did not normally occur around where I live. And I wondered if that might possibly be, it sounded like two of them. One would be a distance away from the other, but they were making the same noise, the same sound. It was like a low tone noise, then followed by 3 or 4 higher pitch tones.
That's incredible. How long do you think you saw it for?
This was not my first sighting of Bigfoots. I've seen Bigfoot several times in several different areas around where I live. But it was probably 15, 20, 30 seconds at least going across there when he come across the road. I can't give you an exact time frame, but it was a little bit. It was close enough for me to see that he was probably 8 or over 8 foot tall. He was huge, large built, but not fat, just big. And he had hair appeared to be probably maybe 2 to 3 inches long that covered most of the body, but it was thicker, more dense in some areas than it was in others. The head or the neckline down to the shoulders, it was like a human head with the small ears like a human. The facial features the eyes were very dark. It had a prominent like brow bone going across, like from your eyebrows across your forehead. It was wide and pronounced there. The nose was more human looking. It was wide, but it wasn't exactly flat, and it had like big nostrils. And some hair, hair around the face, but it was like dark. This one was dark, like almost between a dark brown and a black. And it had some longer hair, longer than the other hair. It had like patches of long hair and patches of shorter hair.
Do you remember what the hair was like on the neck and the back?
It was shorter, not extremely long on the neck, like on the front of the neck and like the facial area. And around the upper chest, it was shorter. The hair that was on the head and going toward the back was longer, a little bit longer looking. And on the arms, like the upper arms, the top part of the upper arms, where the hair was shorter, appeared to be shorter, but like on the back side of the arm, it was a little bit longer. Like going down toward the elbow on a human, it would be like longer, a little bit longer there, and a little longer looking, like from the elbow to the wrist. The hands, the fingers were long, but they didn't have a lot of hair on them.
This is fascinating, the amount of detail you can remember. Do you have your eyes closed right now?
No, I don't. Not right now, I don't.
I would be curious if you do that, if there would be any more details that come back to you.
Well, this is, like I said, this is not my first encounter with them. I've had several sightings that I have had. And there's been several of them. I don't know if they were male or female. I was not able to recall that portion. But like I said, the legs were long, the feet were big. They were more like human feet, not animal feet. And they walked upright. They didn't walk on all fours. Their arms were long, like going down almost to their knees, or that area, like longer than human arms.
Mm. Was there an emotion to the face that you saw?
Curiosity.
How did it show that?
Well, have you ever seen a child, when they look at you and they're curious about something, they turn their head just slightly and they look at you like seriously? Like, what am I seeing? What is this? Like, I was looking at it, probably, I was looking like, oh my gosh, what am I really seeing this? But I was.
Why do you think it was so curious when it looked at you?
I don't know. That made me feel uneasy.
In what way?
Well, because it's strange. Something that's strange to where we live is not something I see every day, and I don't know if it was like human or if it's animal or if a combination of two or if it's an alien. But either way it goes, I can verify that they do exist.
Yeah, absolutely. You said, have you seen anything else that resembles the muscular structure that it has, like anyone in any movies or TV shows?
No.
Okay, so it was just massive.
It was big. The only thing that I can kind of maybe make someone understand how they look. Have you seen like a linebacker football player?
Sure.
That's really big, and the muscles, because some of them work out, and they have like muscles that look like wings that goes from their shoulders up to the base of their skull. They're like really thick, muscular, wide neck. Not real thick, but wide, muscular in the neck area. From the neck, from the head to the shoulder.
And so, was it a thing where like it's all covered with hair, but you can see the muscle definition underneath?
Yes.
Okay. Interesting. Can you share if this is southern Mississippi or northern or anything? I don't want to say too much.
Well, it's around the north central part of the state.
Interesting. Okay, I haven't heard a lot from there. Most of my stuff is from like southeast Mississippi.
Right.
So that is pretty cool. You said that there is also, or this happened in January, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And then you said there's also been other experiences you've had around your house?
Well, in the area, there has been a few things happen after that. It was not that particular day, not on the 10th, but it was around probably the 12th or the 13th of January. I had an occurrence that happened on my property, and that unnerved me pretty bad. But I tried to keep my cool and not lose it. But anyway.
Is that anything you would be comfortable with sharing, or would you rather not?
Well, I don't mind sharing because it's things that happen.
Yeah, feel free to go right ahead. Anything you'd feel comfortable doing. Oh my goodness, I think we lost her. Ugh, this is terrible. I hate when TikTok freaks out like that. Sarah, are you there? Hello, Sarah? I've never wanted to scream so much in my life. Holy mackerel. I hope she comes back. She was an amazing person to talk to, and we got to talk to her. She's gone. All right, keep going. Keep going. Before we wrap this episode, I want to say something directly to a very specific group of listeners. If you're in the military, any branch or forces, and if you've seen something that no one can explain, or if you're a national park ranger or forestry worker who's been told to stay quiet, or if you're a pilot who's seen something strange down on the ground, or if you're with the FBI, a federal agency, or working intelligence, and you stumbled upon something you're not allowed to talk about, and if you're a firefighter, paramedic, or search and rescue responder who's heard screams or found tracks that didn't make sense, if you're in the logging industry, on a remote oil field, or a trucker with government contracts, and you've had something happen that you've never told a soul, and if you're a biologist, a wildlife specialist, or a field researcher under contract who has found evidence you're not allowed to report, if you're a pastor, a missionary, or someone on a spiritual retreat, and you saw something that shook your faith, or if you work in the shadows, CIA, NSA, or anything with clearance, and you've seen what the public hasn't, then I want to talk to you. Even if it's anonymous, you can reach me at bigfootsociety@gmail.com. The world needs to hear what you've been forced to carry alone, and you're not alone. You've got the story. We've got the mic. See you in the woods. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Bigfoot Society podcast. Every encounter we share reminds us that the world is bigger and stranger than we think, and that the truth is often hiding just beyond the tree line. If you enjoyed this episode, please be sure to subscribe to the channel on YouTube, hit the bell so you don't miss the next episode, and share this with a friend who's into mysteries, monsters, or the unexplained. And if you're listening to us on Spotify or Apple Podcast, please follow the show there and leave us a 5-star positive review, because all that helps more people discover the show. And remember, if you or someone you know has had a Bigfoot sighting, please, I'd love to hear from you. So email me at bigfootsociety@gmail.com and let's start the conversation. If you haven't gotten a chance yet, check out our membership community over at www.bigfootsocietypodcast.com. And that's where you can hear tomorrow's episode today, early and ad-free, and members-only episodes every week. Also, it's a place to connect with other people that are into the Bigfoot subject as much as you are. thanks again for following along with the Bigfoot Society. Until next time, keep your eyes open, trust your gut, and never stop asking what else might be out there, and see you in the woods.